I'm going down to the drugstore, buy a big old skeiny yarn. I'm gonna knit me a kitten, even if you don't give a darn.
Hi, welcome to this episode of the We Are Yarn podcast. My name's Amanda. I am your hostess. Thank you for joining me in my craft room today. I'm doing a little something different. I'm standing up for this because I recorded just a little tiny bit that you'll see in a few minutes. And I did it standing up because I was in a hurry and didn't want to deal with the setup. And I really liked it, so I thought I'd try a full episode that way. We're going to see how it goes. But thank you for joining me in my craft room. I hope you have your favorite beverage of choice. Your beverage of choice. I drank down my afternoon coffee, so very fast today that I don't have anything. And I didn't take the time to pour some water. So, let's get going though. First, I have active right now the Procrastinate Along that's running through the end of the month. The first time I record in September is when I'll shut off the thread for that. That's make your case for anything that you procrastinate and finish it. My example, I actually got around to it. I put it lovingly in this bag from Joann's, procrastinating. They define procrastinating as to defer all other activities besides knitting, which I think is a valid definition, but I'm using it more of a things that you tend to put off knitting. So holiday gifts, birthday gifts, even if it's Mother's Day, whatever. If someone just had a birthday yesterday and you really wish you would knit them something, you can knit them something for next year. Whatever. Easy. So easy. I'm also including weaving in ends. Try to make it significant. That's one of my things. I hate weaving in ends. These are not even all the ends I had to weave in, I realized after I was done. Stop it, Proto. I'm recording. I have a wall of shawls over here that need ends woven in. Stop it. Sorry. So the first, so I wove in all the ends for the Celadon. Remember this lovely beauty? I would put her on, but it is 92 degrees here in East Tennessee today. I'm not going to be putting on any hand knits. But I wove in all my ends for her. Isn't she lovely? So each one of those color changes had 2 ends at each change, right? So I'm proud to have that done. Usually I wait till the last minute. I'm like, I'd really like to wear that shawl. I'll weave the ends in now. Also, my Inverness cowl. This is a pattern by Caffeinated Gert and yarn by Dana of One Wand Yarn Company. Finally got those ends woven in after 2 years. I have some mitts I think I also made about 2 years ago. Ends now woven in. Guys, this took me 2.5, nearly 3 hours. And all these socks. Some of them I had just worn with the ends not woven in. But, the one at the toe, really it gets uncomfortable. So all those socks. I have officially put off the procrastination of joining in my own stinking knit along. So I'm really excited about that. What spurred me on to do this knit along or craft along or weaving in your ends along was the fact that it's now almost been 2 years and I really want to make matching. I made my son a stocking for his first Christmas and I want to knit matching stockings for my husband and I. I still haven't done that. I'm accepting the fact that it's not going to get done this year either. Because what I have decided to do instead is my son's birthday is in 5 or 6 weeks and I need to I was going to knit through a book that I left up front of knitted dinosaurs for him. And I probably need to get on knitting him his dinosaur for his birthday. And then his cousin is now, he's gotten her hooked on dinosaurs. Just because he had dinosaurs and she thought they were cool and that's all she could talk about. So I'm going to knit her a dinosaur out of that book for Christmas. Isaac's going to get a Triceratops for his birthday, and his cousin is going to get a pterodactyl for Christmas. So I got to get on that. So that's that knit along. We have an upcoming knit along that's, let's just go ahead and call it starting now. Oh, that other knit along. Whips are welcome. Just like I said, when you post your finished object picture, give me the reason why you consider it something you procrastinate. And that's cool. That's all I need. You got to tell me though. I think I noticed one in there that didn't have a caption on it. If there is no caption, if you post it and play along, that's great. But if I draw your number and there is no reason, I'm going to choose someone else. I recently went to my local yarn shop and picked you guys up something as a prize. We already have 2 patterns donated by, I feel like I always try to say it wrong, Knit-a-Cow Therapy. Knit-a-Cow Therapy. She has a YouTube channel now, which is adorable. I watched it. She's nice. You should go check that out. But she has donated 2 patterns for you guys for that. And finally, the big prize, sorry for the lean, is a lovely set of Knitter's Pride knit blockers. Right? I figured that you guys, probably had enough yarn like I do when you're trying to deal with this yarn situation. So I got you something to help you with that. And isn't blocking one of the things that we tend to procrastinate sometimes? This will help you with it. So I got you a fancy new toy. Let's see what else. The other knit along that I wanted to let you guys know about is the fading into fall that I'm doing in conjunction with Sassy Pants Knitter and Caffeinated Crafting. We love all of the fade patterns, think they're amazing, and we just never jumped on the bandwagon, and we decided as a group that we want to do this. We have yarns that we could fade with and we want to do it. So let me show you my fade. You've seen it before. I have this green into this green, blue, brown, into this kind of tealish sort of deal, into a teal black sort of business, into a blue. I'm going to be making this so faded. Any of those faded patterns will do. So find your fade, free your fade, so faded, that mystery knit along she has going, and I think there's one more she has, but I can't remember the name of it. Any of those will work. I am thinking I'm going to do so faded because I have enough shawls, and I'm just finishing up my second giant shawl. That Celadon is huge. I'm finishing up the starting point. You'll be seeing that in a few minutes. So I'm going to make this so faded, and I'm thinking about dropping that middle one and just doing this. I think that'll still be lovely. It still flows. I think that other one kind of breaks it up. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Alright, so I don't know when that ends. Whips are allowed, and I'll work up a prize out of that. I will work up a prize for you for that. So let's get on with my whips. I don't have anything, well, I do have something finished. I did go to Spinning Guild, and I took this ounce of fiber that was gifted to me for my birthday. Sorry for the crinkle if that's one of your things you don't like. Crafty Housewife Fiber Arts. I have not checked her out to see if she has an Etsy shop or an online presence at all. Like I said, it was gifted to me. And I had a little bit of fiber from, I'm pretty certain it was from Dana of Unwind Yarn Company. And it was kind of purples blues that was in this little bat. And so I decided to spin those separately and to ply them. Just kind of a quick and dirty. So this is roughly 2 ounces, maybe a little bit more. Took me, you know, guild. So we were there maybe 2 or 2.5 hours. I forget how quickly spinning goes when you actually do it. If I sit down at my wheel and spin, this beautiful fiber will turn into yarn. Who knew? This hasn't been set or anything. This is, I pulled it out of my bag from Guild, and that's how it is. So that is my finished object. Let's see, you want a wrap or you want a shirt? Let's talk about my sweater. Let's talk about the morning mist. I did, like I said earlier, I did a little video just update, and so I'm going to throw that in here now. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm just popping in because I'm bedhead and in my pajamas. We're doing it classy style today. I just wanted to stop in real quick. I did get to the point where it was time to pick up the stitches for my morning mist. And so I wanted to show you kind of, you know, I'm having these the gauge issue with one end of my lace panel versus the other end, and I just wanted to show you kind of how I solved that. Firstly, I didn't pick up and knit all at one go. I picked up first using a much smaller needle. So like I'm knitting this on a 6. I use 2s to go through and pick up my stitches along the edge of the lace panel. And I'm sorry, I actually started taking my stitch markers out, and then I was like, no, I need to tell the guys about this. So what I did, because for the directions that I'm following, the size I'm following, I'm supposed to pick up 100 stitches. So at first I got to like 20 just picking up along the edge, and I went, wait a minute. We need to do this in a more scientific fashion. Okay, so what I did is I got stitch markers that are the earring back, you know, removable stitch markers. I folded my work in half and put a stitch marker there. And then I matched up the ends and I put a stitch marker there. And then I did the same on the other side. Or I matched up the end to my marker, and then I did the same on the other side. And so now I had 3 markers, and in theory, roughly 25 stitches should go end to marker, you know, between the markers and the ends. Right? Okay. So, and then I did that again so that it was 12.5 stitches in between each stitch marker. And then I took my little needle, and at first I started trying to pick up along the edge, but then I remembered how wonky it had gotten on my sleeves, and so I moved in a row, because I figure the reason that my edges here look so weird are because of the way I was treating the edge. And if I had just come in one row, it probably would have been fine. So what I did is go in a row, and then I picked up my stitches on my smaller needle. And I did 12, the first section I did 12, the next section I did 13, the next section I did 12, the next section I did 13, so that with every 2 sections I got a total of 25 like I was supposed to. So 12, 13 makes 25. And then the next set, 12, 13 makes 25. Well, I went back, I counted my stitches after I picked them all up. I only had 97 or 98. Honestly, I'm going to have to count them again because I don't recall exactly the number. But, so I just kind of put little markers on a couple of the stitches that I had skipped while I was picking up to make the even number that I thought I was supposed to have, because I think I had 98. I'll pick up those stitches when I'm coming back to knit, and with my working yarn, and then I will count again and make sure I have the 100 stitches I need. And if I do not, I'll just add an extra one on at the end. And that's how that's going to go. So I wanted to show you guys that. And I think that's a good method for evenly picking up stitches when you don't want to figure out your gauge and how much math and how many you need to pick up along the edge and whatever. So I hope you guys have a great day. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. And by the magic of editing, we're back. What'd you think? So how I picked up those stitches and all, the way I worked that out. Yeah. So this is living in my bag made by Caffeinated Kurt. And since then I have made it, I've made it quite a long ways. Yeah, look at all that knitting. Isn't that crazy? Look at all that knitting. I'm supposed to go 15 inches from here. So what I decided, since this yarn that I'm using is Elizabeth Lavold U-Cool, which is a wool eucalyptus blend, discontinued. But anyway, I'm supposed to go 15 inches, and I'm barreling through. When I got to the end of that second ball, since this is discontinued, I decided maybe I should go up and I was getting bored in the round. So I went back and I used the same method to pick up stitches around the edge and did my neck edge. Now here's where my knitting has failed this time. I was only supposed to do like 1 or 2 rounds and then bind it off, and I did 4 as is called for around the sleeves. So what I decided to do is just go with it. I don't think it looks horrible. It does roll down a little bit, but I think when I block it, it'll straighten out. Because just with a little bit of stretch, it straightens itself out. So what I'm going to do is not weave my end in, and when I get all done with the sweater, I will block it and try it on. And if I do not like the way it looks, then I will pull it out to further back where I was supposed to stop and bind it off again. But as it is now, I'm just going to go with it. I think it's going to be fine. Design element. But that's a lot of knitting, yo. This has been my social knitting, my throw it in the car in case I'm in a position where I have 5 minutes and can just knit and not have to think about where I am because it's in the round, just knitting. I haven't worked on my Game of Thrones socks anymore. You'd think that's what I'd be throwing in the car, but it's not. And then finally, for whips, I have also been working on my starting point shawl wrap by Joji Locatelli. Last you saw it, I believe it was still 2 parts and very near completed. I finished that second part and got them joined together, and got going on the first final triangle. So here's the thing. After I got done with my dark cross, is what she calls it, I had exactly this much yarn left of the black. So this is how I'm going to handle this, because I am so close to being out. I am going to knit the 2 sections concurrently, sort of. I'm going to knit to the point where it calls for me to switch to my black again, and then I'm going to go to the other side and knit the other side up to the point where I'm supposed to switch to the black. And then I'm going to work from both ends. I'm going to knit a row on the other side, knit back, knit back on the other side until I'm completely out, and then I will switch to this black because it's very similar black, sort of. But I think, you know, just finishing up, I'll still have that little bit of sparkle on that part. And yeah, and it is still, those rows are, I think at that point, going to be less than 100 stitches. I think it's totally possible that this may even, I may even only need that black for just a couple of stitches. And if that's the case, I will just switch to the next color that's called for and go with it. So that's that. This is going to be, you remember I talked about how I had messed up these sections here, and so it was going to be several inches shorter than the pattern actually calls for. I am not concerned. This thing is going to be massive regardless. This is unblocked and it's huge. My only problem right now that I see is this business. All those ends. I may farm it out. I hear tell that there's someone at the yarn shop who I can pay that will weave in ends, and they may just get my money because time is more important to me than money, and that's not something I enjoy. So that's that. Hopefully the next time I record you will be seeing a finished shawl. Who knows? It has grown up though. It can't be held by the bag anymore. I had to put it in a giant basket. Once I joined those ends together, it just wasn't feasible to, it was really hard to put it in the bag. You guys want to hear about a little wool piggery? Because not only did I buy you knit blockers while I was at the LYS, okay, let's be honest, I went to the LYS twice. You guys, you know, you've been watching me, if you've been watching for a while, you know that I'm in love with my stash, and I've been trying really hard to use it up and take my inspiration from my stash instead of the other way around, you know, finding a pattern and then going to get yarn for it. I've been trying to look at my yarn and find patterns for it. So I have my So Faded laying out. I have 2 other shawls that I want to eventually make laying out. I'm trying to come up with a clever way that I can keep all of it together separate from my stash, since I have plans for it. But I went to the LYS twice. I spent some money on Etsy, and there was a dyer at SSK that I really wanted some yarn from, and so I had Yarny Godmother do a little bit of shopping for me at SSK. So I very rarely do acquisitions. I thought about spreading all this out, but I decided just let's get it all done in one go. So if you don't like watching people's wool piggery, I'll see you next time. Thanks for hanging out with me. But you know, I so rarely, it's not all yarn either, because I got myself some knit blockers. I got, and I guess I should put a picture in somewhere, I got from the Snarky Llama with some of my birthday money from Etsy, a couple of decals for the back of my car. I got a yarn ball with needles, and I got a little sheepy from Snarky Llama. My husband very lovingly applied them, and I think they're the best. And I was knitting in a dentist office, and I had the next person that came in sat down, looked at me knitting, and she said, I bet that's your car out there, isn't it? Yeah. So, I digress. So I also, with my birthday money, purchased myself, I wanted, you know, my friend Wendy, Sassy Pants Knitter, Silly Frou, waxes poetic about the gnome knitter and her progress keepers, and every time I would sit down to try to order something from her, like this last time I tried twice and she was on vacation, and then this last time it was only things that were already made. She didn't have room for custom orders, you know. So all of them were ready made, and none of them were really anything I wanted. So I went looking, and I found Simply Serving. I may have thrown her card away, and I'm very sorry, Lindsay, but it came in this cute little kitty bag that says thank you on it. I mean, how precious is it? Present for you. And then this sweet little thank you. Isn't it precious? You make me smile. And then her little box was wrapped in this cute little tape. I mean, it's all adorable. So I got, and I think I'm going to go ahead and put one of these on my morning mist. I got this sweet little sushi roll. And I say little, I mean it's a pretty significant size. I wish I had a ruler right here where I could grab it very quickly, but I don't. And I got this sweet little ice cream cone. It's cookies and cream ice cream cone, and cookies and cream is one of my favorites. So I got those. Shipping was very quick, and you know, the packaging adorable. So, and they look, I mean, they're precious. They're nothing but precious. So I got that. Then at the LYS for more non-woolly things, and then we'll pull out all the wool. I'd wanted one of these for a long time. I wanted just a knit stitch one, but Moss Stitch is all she had left when I noticed that she was selling them. The Debbie Bliss mugs where it tells you knit one purl. That's the direction for Moss Stitch, in case you're wondering. So I'm excited about this. Now that you've seen it, I'm going to go, it's very dusty on the inside, I'm going to wash it, and it's going to be my coffee mug in the morning. So I'm thrilled about that. Alright guys, yarn. Here we go. So the dyer that I really wanted yarn from at SSK is Stranded. She's from the UK, and she's lovely. She has the Stranded podcast. Amy is her name. You need to go check her out. She's great. My Yarny godmother chose for me. I showed her some that I really liked from Amy, and so she picked out one of those for me. She got me the Koi on Oasis, and to go with it, she got me her black. This is smoked. So these are going to live together and become something beautiful together, and I'm really excited about it. I've dropped some needles a little bit ago, and now I'm afraid I'm going to step on them. Purchased, and instead of throwing a clearance, or maybe because things didn't clear out at clearance, she had grab bags at my LYS, the hook and needle, and so I bought this out of a grab bag, not knowing what it was. I just knew it was cotton, and there were going to be 888 total yards. So I'm the proud owner now of Juniper Moon Farm Neve, I'm assuming is how you say that. It's a cotton, and like I said, 220 yards in this. It's 100 grams, but it's a really light, it's very loosely plied. It's gonna be really nice to work with, and I want to make a summer cardigan out of this, and maybe I'll cast that on in the throes of winter when I need a reminder of, you know, summer's coming. Alright. And then she was on the I-75 yarn crawl, and I purchased for myself the Unplanned Peacock colorway dyed specifically for the yarn crawl. And this is 460 yards of peacock sock. It's a superwash merino nylon blend. And this is Summer in East Tennessee. Isn't that so pretty? This is actually why I went back to the LYS the second time. And then everything else is from Misty Mountain Makers. Emily. She is the purveyor of Misty Mountain Makers. She's, what am I saying? I have lost my mind. She's on YouTube. She has a YouTube channel, Down the Hobbit Hole. You should check her out. She does not only yarny things, but also some kind of homesteading type things. She has chickens, that sort of business. It's adorable. Anyway, Misty Mountain Makers. So this is the blue pill. No, not that blue pill. Think the Matrix. She also had a red pill and the code, which were red and green, dyed in a very similar fashion to this. I got that on my second trip back because I couldn't stop thinking about it. I also got, these are all Elven Base, which is a Superwash Merino Nylon Tencel. A little bit of shine to them. So this is Unrequited, which is just so pretty. Similar vein as the blue pill, but it's not on a gray base, it's on white. That's really nice. And then I was told she dyed this on a day when she was doing a dyeing demonstration. So this is a one of a kind, never to be repeated. And it just, I was in a pink place that day, I guess, because I had to have it. I picked it up and put it down 3 times, and then I was like, I just gotta have it. And that's my wool piggery. In my defense, 5 skeins are going into this wrap. Only 3 skeins came back in, and only 1 sweater's worth. Wait, no. And then the stranded, which I'm not going to count because I just don't want to pay shipping over the pond. Hook and needle. Alright. So that's all I have. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode. I hope it won't be as long before I get to stand before you and talk to you again. I hope that you have a great length of time until I see you again. Take care.
I just can't wait to finish. I got the kitten knitting blues. No, I just can't wait to finish. That's why I got those kitten knitting blues.